Joining me now is Tzipi Livni. She's a former Israeli vice prime minister and former Israeli foreign minister, among many other high-ranking positions that she has held. She's participated in past talks between Israelis and Palestinians. She recently testified in court in the corruption trial against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, which remains ongoing in spite of the war. Thank you for being with us again. Thank you. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Ali, and thank you, if I may say, thank you for speaking about the hostages and their families, because it's heartbreaking and it feels like the world completely abandoned them. And it is important to tell their story, because just today, the body of one of the hostages was returned to Israel, and a video of him alive was released by the terrorists, and later they just murdered him. And we need to understand which kind of organization we are dealing with, the kind of cruelty.
And let's talk about that, because when I was in Israel in the days right after October 7th, I met with a number of these families of hostages, and it was inconceivable, their grief and their fear at the time. Yeah. And now it is 6 months later, and it gets normalized for the rest of the world, but it's never, ever normalized for the families of a hostage, whether their loved ones are thought to still be alive or whether they're dead. That will never change for them. It doesn't get better.
No, for the families, for Israelis, just imagine this situation, not knowing what happens with your son or daughter. And since you mentioned both the kind of torture that they are having there, and speaking about women that are being kept, sexual harassment, and it's so difficult even to absorb, so painful to absorb them. The situation there for them.
And one of the standouts,
of course.
One of the standouts about your time in government is that you were thought of as somebody who believed in a peaceful solution, in peaceful coexistence between Israelis and Palestinians, in a two-state solution. Hearts have hardened since October 7th. On all sides. And all we have is more civilian suffering in Gaza, and no relief for the families of the hostages, and no end in sight. Tell me what you've been thinking about recently about how to get to that end.
I do believe in the same strategy. Yes, I was chief negotiator for peace on behalf of Israel in the last 2 rounds of negotiations, and unfortunately, we didn't get an acceptance or a yes answer from Abu Mazen, Mahmoud Abbas. But yes, I believe that it is an Israeli interest. So I'm not speaking about peace in a naive manner. You see what kind of organization we have on the other side. But the right strategy was always to act against Hamas as a terrorist organization, to weaken them, and to work and strengthen the legitimate Palestinian Authority. They are not practicing terror. They are cooperating with Israel against terror. They are too weak now because the strategy of Netanyahu was completely the difference. He paid, but not directly, but through Qatar, Hamas, and weakened the Palestinian Authority. And again, I believe that this is what we should do, to act militarily against Hamas as a terrorist organization. But the idea of toppling the regime comes with a replacement. Mm-hmm. And the only Palestinian regime that can replace Hamas is the Palestinian Authority. Mm-hmm. It's too weak right now, so there's a need for helping them with other, maybe international, Arab, or some forces that will help them to take over. If I may add, this is also connected to releasing the hostages. And why is that? Because what Hamas demand is that the Palestinians will go back from the south part of Gaza to the northern part, that the Israeli army is completely left, but yet this is a place that we can start bringing the PA. And the problem is, and this is my criticism on Netanyahu, that for his political reasons and ideology of far-right in Israel, that those that are not willing to renegotiate with the legitimate Palestinian Authority is not willing to speak about what we called for 6 months the day after, but this is here and now. And this is the time to cooperate with the U.S. instead of saying that he can stand against the world. There's a time to work with the world in replacing Hamas. So on one hand, to act military against them, and on the other, to replace them with legitimate Palestinian Authority.
Tzipi Livni, you answered all my questions because you're thinking about it the right way. Unfortunately, that's not what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing, but hopefully there will be enough pressure to convince him to do that, and that those hostages will all be released and be returned to their families, and the killing will stop in Gaza. Thank you, as always, for the time you take to have important discussions with us. Tzipi Livni is a former Israeli vice prime minister. Hey, everyone. MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.